Oh, we are live. How about that? Good morning on this 26th day of September in the year of our Lord 2024. Sorry, the title says 36. That's a typo. Oh well. That's very Phil Dickian, a mistake like that. Let's see, I am in my little mountain cabin in beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire, where the fires never touched us this year. Sorry. Got a tickle in my throat. Jeez, that one was hard to get rid of. Wow. It's looking to become a beautiful day. It's been kind of chilly this morning, but the temperatures will get nice and comfortable, high 70s today. And I do have an article to go over once. Hi, Witta. Good morning. Welcome in. I do want to talk about the literary critic and university professor Frederick Jameson, who passed away recently at age 90, because he wrote a great deal about Philip K. Dick. In the meantime, I've been watching these reaction videos where chefs watch other chefs and home cooks making various foods. And there seem to be quite a few spaghetti carbonara videos. Carbonara has cheese and black pepper as the main flavors. Oh, and also an Italian bacon. Well, you're supposed to use guanciale, made from the pig's cheek, but it can be very difficult to get and expensive, so you can use an alternative, which is basically Italian pork belly. Can't remember what it's called. Not the real thin sliced stuff. It comes in a chunk and you cut it to the size you want. Well, being an American, if I made that dish, I would use bacon. And the major complaint against bacon is that it's smoked. But you can get bacon that is not smoked. Well, hi, Ditch. Welcome in. Hope you slept well. I slept well, but I could sleep another couple hours. But I don't want to waste the daylight. So anyway, with carbonara, the biggest complaint comes from Chef Vincenzo of Vincenzo's Plate. No cream in carbonara. You 3 hours and no dreams or nightmares. Poor Ditch, only 3 hours. The sauce for the carbonara is made with the oil that you cooked the guanciale in, and cheese. It's supposed to be pecorino romano, but if it's a little too strong for you, you can make it half romano, half parmigiano reggiano. Well, I don't have those cheeses. I have similar cheeses from Wisconsin, because even those are amazingly expensive. A half pound of, cheddar or jack cheese is under $10. That'd be 8 ounces. Uh, 6 ounces of these Wisconsin cheeses are about $10, maybe 12, which is a little more expensive, but the real thing, Parmigiano Reggiano, which is only from Italy. Ditch says cheddar is always better. Well, not in a carbonara, I wouldn't think. But in most dishes, I like cheddar, like mac and cheese. I'll use cheddar and jack mixed together. But in a carbonara, no cream? Well, excuse me. What is cheese made out of? Milk? So you whip up your eggs in the oil and try not to cook them. And add a little pasta water to temper them. In the meantime, you've got your pasta in the frying pan. Well, I don't see anything wrong with adding a little bit of cream or milk at the end, after you've made your sauce from the cheese and oil. And especially with an Alfredo sauce, which is butter and cheese. With Alfredo, the Italians put the hot pasta in a bowl and quickly put in the butter and cheese so they melt into the pasta. I see nothing wrong with adding a little cream or milk at the end if you want it a little looser and creamier. Cheese is made of milk. Butter is made of cream. So why not? But first try just butter and cheese and see if it works for you. I got this box of what they call Alfredo. It has the noodles and a packet of goodies and everything, and I just went, no. First, you add equal amounts of water and milk, and then you to a saucepan, and then you boil the pasta in that and pour in this packet of 99 different chemicals. No, thank you. First off, I don't boil pasta in milk. Second, Alfredo doesn't need 99 chemicals. It needs flour, butter, make a roux, melt your butter, and you can leave out the flour apparently, but I put some in to thicken it. And you slowly, slowly, slowly make your Alfredo with butter and cheese. Nothing else. But I still add either cream or milk at the end. And after all, since butter's made of cream and cheese is made of milk, why not? Oh, hi, Dawn. Good morning. And hi, Angus and Pio. Welcome in, guys. Angus gets the Knorr packets of Alfredo and add milk and butter, and it's amazing. That's probably okay. But look at the ingredients. Mom used to make what she called Alfredo. She would melt butter into milk. Actually, she used margarine, which is a deadly sin as far as I'm concerned. But she'd just keep melting in butter while heating the milk on a low flame. And then toss in the pasta when it was through cooking. Oh, Angus had Alfredo at the Venice Noodle Factory in Santa Monica, and it was awesome. Just sure he'd be banned from Italy if he ever went there. Hi, Jason. Good morning. Welcome in. Angus puts hot sauce on his Alfredo. I was tempted to put some salsa or something like that, maybe a little Tabasco in my mac and cheese. Just a little. I have a complicated relationship with hot peppers. Pio used to cook it and didn't even know what it was called. Alfredo. Some chef named Alfredo in Italy came up with the recipe. Angus wants to know, did Phil read the paper every day? No, he read the Sunday Los Angeles Times, just the Sunday paper, and mostly the book reviews and movie reviews, the entertainment section. No, our television wasn't on very often. In the prime time, we'd watch a lot of comedies. He loved Saturday Night Live. Hi, Freeman. Welcome in. And there's Dawn. Hello there. Good morning. How come I didn't come on at 7:30? Because I was on last night and I needed a little extra sleep. Yeah, well, mac and cheese is a lot like Alfredo, but it's supposed to have a little milk in it. Alfredo doesn't have the cheese, it's butter and, what did I say? Butter and something. I'm half asleep. Carbonara has, yeah, it Alfredo has butter and Parmesan cheese. You can use Romano if you want, but or both. But it's not. It can be made without cheese. I don't know. I'm so tired. Jason Taverner. Angus wants to know how Phil came up with Jason Taverner. Well, apparently there was a bartender that Phil was friends with. He used to drink occasionally. So he called his character Jason Taverner. That's in Flow My Tears, the policeman said. Good morning, everyone. Alfredo. Does Alfredo have cheese? Maybe I'm mixing it up with carbonara. Let me do a quick search. Come on. Without spilling coffee on my keyboard. What is Alfredo sauce made of? Come on. Yeah, cheese, Parmesan, and lots of butter, and fresh fettuccine pasta. Well, I made my mac and cheese the other day with the noodles from the ugh, phony Alfredo box. Yeah, Phil had a low opinion of most television, but he enjoyed Carol variety shows like Carol Burnett and sitcoms, situation comedies like Newhart, and he absolutely loved Sanford and Son and All in the Family. But I was going to get the box and tell you why I will not use the garlic peel. Yeah, the Italians don't use much garlic. It isn't like you think, but hey, I like to add garlic to all sorts of Italian dishes. It really takes them up to another level. Anyway, I don't see any reason not to add a little cream to your finished sauce, or milk if you don't have cream, but you know, whatever. Oh, Sanford and Son. Yeah, Phil loved that too. Yes. Red Fox. Red Fox got me in trouble. Long before he did the TV show, he had a stand up comedy show, and they released an LP, a 33 and a third LP platter, a record of some of his routines, his jokes. Got me in trouble because when I told Red Fox's jokes, he played Fred Sanford on Sanford and Sons. When I told his jokes, people called me a racist. And then when I first saw Phil turned on the first episode of Sanford and Son, I was going, that's him. It's his jokes. Yeah, well, my parents used to play his jokes over and over on the hi-fi. It wasn't actually a stereo, but it had two speakers. And then they'd play Bob Newhart's record with the bus driver's school. And the dentist saying, that didn't hurt. Well, it didn't hurt the dentist. Anyway, let me get that box of phony Alfredo. Oh, Too late, I already threw it out. And I took the trash out too. The problem with the sauce is it has a huge ingredients list, and most of it is stuff you don't want to eat. Soy protein and lecithin are the least of it. It has chemicals all over the place. And the cheese is not the real thing. Wow, Angus got hired by a controversial comic, Paul Mooney. So this black comedian hired a white Jewish kid to help him write a screenplay. Wow, Pio did yard work today. Good man. An Eddie Murphy film that never got made. Well, that's what happens to most screenplays. They never get made. They're supposed to pay you anyway, just not as much. You need adjustment. Well, anyway. Oh, I got to work at Paramount. Anyway. Got paid in coffee, donuts, pizza, and bagels? Wow. Never went hungry, huh? Well, I would love to get involved in film production, but my heart lies with live stage plays. I really didn't get out much when I was growing up, but when I was at Chapman College, I went to see all of the plays, the stage plays. I even watched the rehearsals if it fit my schedule. I tried writing for Star Trek, the original series, but I was just a high school kid in Anaheim, and they wouldn't even read it. What's my favorite stage play? Widow wants to know. That's a hard one. How about, I can't remember the title now, and I can't remember the author. Well, my current favorite is the one that our local theater group is preparing for Halloween. They're doing a live stage production of The Walking Dead. And it has very comic moments, comedic even. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome in. Good morning. Well, YouTube isn't film production. I like to hang out with the gaffers and the cameramen. Screw the actors. They're all full of themselves. I can almost remember the stage play that really impressed me. And the guy was famous, and I've forgotten the title and the name. Yeah, I wouldn't go to Hollyweird, but at Chapman College, it was a lot of work, but fun. Oh, Freeman tried to do a stage production of The Man Who Would Be King. Phil liked stage plays, but he didn't like to leave the house or apartment. He made me watch this Ionesco play that was on the public TV, Channel 28, KCET, government sponsored. Ionesco's like absurdist, and I didn't see any point to his play. I thought it was garbage, but Phil raved about it. Don hasn't gone to sleep since I was on last night. Wow. Well, the screenplay schools and agents and stuff, they'll tell you you have to follow this exact format, so many spaces and indented so much. But when you get to producers and directors, they don't care. They just want a good script. I think it's a scam. You pay us money and we'll make sure the format is correct. Yeah, I agree with you, Ditch. As a born and raised California native, I'm disgusted at what our state has become. It's these East Coast elites who have screwed us over. Although it is beginning to affect them, now 2 mansions in the Hollywood Hills have been taken over by squatters and covered with graffiti, and the places are trashed. My cousin John and his wife Pam used to earn extra money while they were in college by house sitting. So that when families were on vacation for a week or two, their house would be carefully watched and lived in so they wouldn't have problems with burglaries. Now it isn't just burglaries, the burglars move in and refuse to leave. Oh, Salinger never sold the rights for Catcher in the Rye to be made into a movie. That's that book that they say assassins and would-be assassins read it before they went nuts, flipped out, and tried to off somebody. Oh, in the 70s, I was living on something between $300 and $400 a month. I wasn't doing well, but I had a car and I never went hungry. You can't rent a room. I haven't read the book, so The Catcher in the Rye. I don't. I guess it's about an autistic man, something like that. Well, that's what I say about most of Phil's books. They're good, but not great. He wrote so many, it's not exactly a dig, an insult. It's just his great books stand out so clearly against the other books. But I think the penultimate truth and the unteleported men are highly underrated. Yeah, especially the penultimate truth. The sunlight's coming in. That's a good thing. Oh, I see. Thank you, Freeman. Catcher is about a kid who's made paranoid by having to tell his parents he's expelled. Kicked out of school, huh? Uh, I'm still trying to think of my favorite play's title and author. And I'm still stuck. Well, let's look at Frederick Jameson, his obituary in Locus, which is like the mag fans of science fiction. Jameson was a Marxist, wrote a lot about Philip K. Dick. I think they corresponded. So he was 90 years old, which ain't bad at all. Died yesterday, no, a few days ago, September 22, in Durham, North Carolina. Literary theory and cultural criticism, lifelong devotee of science fiction. His PhD thesis was titled Sartre, The Origins of a Style, 1961. Fulbright scholar, studied in Germany, worked as a professor of French and comparative literature at Harvard, UC San Diego, that's University of California, Yale, and the University of California, Santa Cruz, before settling at Duke University in 1986. There's a great article in the New York Times, but it's behind a paywall. Don didn't care for Burroughs. Okay. I'll tell you how bad I am at names. I liked The Grapes of Wrath and I forgot the author's name. Anyway, While in California, Jameson oversaw Kim Stanley Robinson's doctoral thesis on Philip K. Dick. Yeah, and he was often published in science fiction studies. Phil used to read science fiction studies. If I remember correctly, it was published in Australia and very expensive. I think that's the one from Australia. Anyway, this is a great article, and I will put the link in the chat for those of you who want. Steinbeck. Thank you, Don. I think Steinbeck also wrote The Pearl, about a man who discovers that his daughter is more valuable than money. Yeah, Phil wasn't good on the sentence and paragraph level, except this last book I picked up, uh, The Transmigration of Timothy Archer, is very well written. It still has some clunky parts. Anyway, let's get off the share screen. There, here we go. Well, Travels with Charlie, turns out it was mostly made up, Freeman. Steinbeck didn't really live like that. He just thought it made a good book. Yeah, Flow My Tears and You, they're tight, but the prose doesn't flow. I started reading The Transmigration of Timothy Archer, but I haven't come near to finishing it. Oh, We Can Build You really impressed me, but once again, it could have been better. And he basically rewrote it, the same story, in several novels like The Simulacra and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? I think it was in We Can Build You that the robot of Abraham Lincoln was more human, more humane than the actual people. Humpty Dumpty in Oakland. My favorite of his non-science fiction is The Man Whose Teeth Were All Exactly Alike. It's based on a real problem in Marin County. The water, the tap water to people's homes was contaminated, and it became all a political mess. Oh, apparently the link didn't. There's the link to the article about Frederick Jameson. Phil used to write to his critics and argue with them about what he really meant in his fiction. Sorry, got an eye itchy. And they would tell him, no, you really meant this. And Phil would say, no, I meant that. And they'd argue with him as if they could read his mind and know his intentions. That's part of the whole death of the author movement in literary criticism, that all that matters is the text. The problem is these critics were reading into it their own views. It was not just the text. Freeman, note to self, always make fun of your critics, but never give them the attention they crave. Okay. I think the play, my favorite play is called The Apartment, but I'm not sure. Oh, come on. Author name. Neil Simon. Yes, that's it. My favorite play is Neil Simon's The Apartment. Neil Simon was magical genius. I've never seen the musical version. Wow. I love all the Arthurian myths, the once and future king. It often seems to apply to our own times. And for a long time, there was a tradition in the British Isles that Arthur actually would return in reality and clean up the mess of Great Britain. Now I got hiccups. Oh, John Candy. He died young because of being obese. Well, heck. Yeah. Well, Freeman, mediocre plays like Cats or Phantom or Les Miserables were hugely successful because of the elaborate sets and costumes. Ditch says hiccups don't exist. Okay, whatever. I'm looking at a tub of dates. Medjool dates? Medjool? Let me see. Medjool dates. There's some kind of really fancy dates that the food bank at the Adventist church gave me. Oh, they're huge and they're sweet and they're awesome and there's nothing added. The ingredients list says dates, organic medjool dates, and then allergy information. That's the only ingredient, the dates. I like that. I can't believe there is no sugar added to dates. They're so sweet. I've been eating them, but I think I'll make some cookies or something with chopped dates in them. Don V says dates and pecans go well together. I owe someone a pecan pie. The guy who hauls my trash for free. Yeah, well, they're kind of dried figs. They're not super dried. But I got from the other food bank, the FDA food bank, this bag of super dried little cubes of fig. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. They're like crushable, they're apparently you're supposed to soak them in water before you use them, but then what do you do with them? I don't think they'll have the same flavor as these dates. Anyway, I don't want to save my solitaire progress, you evil computer. I've been playing solitaire offline so that Microsoft won't pester me. I don't care if they save my scores and all that stuff. I just do it to relax. And it's supposed to be good for your brain. Hi, at Sequentia, welcome in. It's morning. I'm a little slow today. I wonder what it would be like to make a tart with a date and custard filling and pecans on top. That reminds me, I keep watching these shows where to make a custard, they whisk up the eggs in a bowl while the milk is getting hot on the stove, and then they temper the eggs by adding a little bit of the hot milk while stirring vigorously. Well, that's not how I do it. I whisk up the eggs and add them to cold milk, and I heat up the milk and egg mixture on low heat while stirring. It seems a lot simpler to me and less likely to fail. I've never had scrambled eggs come out when I do it that way. And yet all these chefs on YouTube whisk the eggs up in a bowl and carefully pour in hot milk while stirring vigorously. I wonder how many times they have to try it before they don't come out with scrambled eggs. Much easier, much simpler. Mix the eggs into the cold milk. Then heat up the mixture. Slowly, low heat. I've also found that I like bacon a lot better if I cook it on low heat for a long time and not I put them into a cold frying pan and turn on the heat on low. It takes about 10 minutes. And just because I can't leave it alone, I turn over the bacon slices a few times. You don't have to do that. And I like them a lot better. The fat stays soft and the meat cooks without turning into cardboard. On the other hand, my older and smarter brother, Steve, cooks his bacon in the oven. Oh, wait a minute. No, he cooks them in a microwave on one of these crazy racks that you hang the bacon on. Someone else I know cooks it in the oven on a sheet tray. Stooping, huh, Freeman? It's been a long time since I've heard that word. Uh, it's a word they've often used on television to get past the censors. Let's see, where's my lighter? My cigarette went out. It isn't so much that I'd be offended, Freeman, as that YouTube would be offended if you use bad words. Leave me alone in a room with a computer for an hour and I could cuss to make a sailor blush, but I don't use those words around other people. At least not often. I don't see anything wrong with hell and damn, but or even shit and crap, but apparently they're bad words. Oh well, I don't like the F word, and if you want to get muted for 5 minutes, use the C word. I don't recommend you do that. I never use that word, ever. It's an insult to all women. Pio, it refers to a female anatomy, and it's very sexual. That's all I'm going to say. The first time I heard it, I had to look it up, and it was in the dictionary. Yeah. I don't remember whether it's one of the 7 deadly words that George Carlin did in his stand-up routine. When one of Phil's editors wanted him to put that word into one of his books, he told him, "You are not calling the mother of my child the C word." So he settled on the word bitch. Oh, wow. How did we get on that subject? Well, apparently it was to replace something Phil said in his novel that his ex-wife could have sued him about, so it had to be replaced. Because the character was recognizable. Now, as far as I'm concerned, bitch is a female dog. That's what they're called. So I don't mind that word as much. I mean, how many people, let's say you're using a hammer and you miss the nail and hit your thumb, you say, son of a bitch, right? Son of a dog. Nothing wrong with dogs. Cat hair. Time to vacuum and air out the house. There's cat hair in the air. Oh well. Witta, that was Frederick Jameson, a Marxist professor and literary critic. Here's the link to the article about him. Very distinguished professor. Oh yeah. When my oldest brother Rick had his high school that book, I forget what they call it, you know, that everyone autographs because the school year is over. One of the girls signed his book saying he was the bitchinest boy in high school. That was a good thing. Bitchin' is good. Hi, Cecilia. Welcome in. Yearbook. Thank you, Freeman. I never had a yearbook in school. Didn't even dare ask Mom for one. She was so paranoid. She ordered me not to show up for school pictures because then the government would have a picture of me. So if I got the yearbook and she saw my picture in it, because I did show up for school pictures, I would be severely punished, probably beaten and sent to my room without supper, although we called it dinner. Oh, but when the golden child, my baby sister Georgia, was in school, she got her yearbooks and fancy new clothes and everything. She grew up very spoiled and entitled, and yet Mom did some mean things to her, but not on the constant basis that she did with me and my brothers. My baby sister had to run away. My parents were divorced, and she had to escape mom's house and go live with dad and his second wife because mom was really getting abusive. And she was the golden child who could do no wrong. I don't care if the government has my picture. I'm all over the internet anyway. And I don't think I'm important enough for them to bother me. I try to obey all the laws. And that scratch in my throat came back in the same place. Leonardo DiCaprio has passed away? I didn't know that. Oh well. Yeah. Well, Witta, I think that I was briefly targeted by MK Ultra or something like it, but it didn't work out for them. Oh, well, you said Departed. I guess that's part of the movie title, The Aviator and the Departed. Whose coffin, Freeman? Oh, the movie is The Departed. Okay. Thank you. Never heard of it. The Aviator, Howard Hughes. Ah, I know a little about Howard Hughes. Yeah, it's hard to be a success in Hollywood without having bad things going on. There's a lot of evil in Hollywood. I never got into drugs. I smoked pot when I was still in high school, still a minor child, and didn't really care for it. There was this candy called Good and Fruity. It's like Good and Plenty, but instead of licorice flavors, it has fruit flavors. Comes in a little box. And this friend was smoking a joint and shared it with me, and we spent an hour looking at that box going, ooh, the colors. That was the only time I didn't just get hungry. And that would have been 1971 or 2, around New Year's. So it could have been either year. I was still 17. It made a difference in those days if you got caught, if you were a minor. you didn't get in as much trouble. Yeah, just don't. And I never took any of the. No, Good and Fruity was still is an honest to God candy. Little let me see. Where is that? They look like Good and Plenty, except they're different colors and they're fruity, not licorice flavor. Oh, the cats think it's time for treats. They heard a plastic bag being rustled. All right, sweetie. And Tutu. And Tora. And Smoky Sue. Where's Tracy? I know they're all in the house. Okay, Tora, you got shorted. There's some more. Here's Tracy. Good girl. I think Tutu's really a boy, but they grew up with me calling them all good girl. I never took any of the pills or shots off the street. Come on, phone. Do not disturb. And prevent. The lighting spin.